We can't hear you guys.
No. Here we go.
Gabriel.
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you, Ikel. Okay.
Yes.
Gerhard, say something, please. Test.
Yes.
Jessica, Gabriel.
Hi, can you hear me well?
Yeah.
No.
Gerhard.
No, I'm on. No, I'm
Perfect. Gabriel. Test.
Yes, I'm on. Yes.
Super. Hello. We made it. Sorry, I was a little bit rough. A little rough start. Well,
Well,
but at least all our loopers are flying in now.
Hey, hola, Vladimir. Oh, I can see people in the chat that are like saying hi to us from all over the world.
Ecuador. Whoa.
Yes.
Wow, Slovakia,
Namaskar, my
Switzerland.
God. Our loopers are flying in. This is amazing. Hey, so I would like to thank all of you for being here today in our Loop Faces talk number 4. And I feel really deep solidarity through Loop Faces and the trust and the connectivity you have given. I really want to thank you for that throughout the last 4 weeks. And there's such a solidarity between all of us, and we can feel it on a daily basis. And this is really special. And I think these are moments we will probably never forget in life. And through all many conversations that I have and have with you and you have amongst each other, we can see and feel a little light at the end of the tunnel. For some more, for some less, but let's hang in there. And our first Loop Faces was 4 weeks ago. If I think and imagine what has happened in these 4 weeks, it's just amazing. So let's see where we stand in 4 weeks' time. So Loopers, you are just, hello from Los Angeles, my gosh. That's so cool. Yeah, just please use the chat forms and the chats. And you know, you have to, I'm just mentioning this, you can differentiate between just only writing to our guests here or to everybody. So use it for everybody so they can, we get a little bit loop feeling, you know, like we are seeing us all personally. Well, let's get started. I have an amazing, amazing panelist crowd here. Friends, I have to say friends for many years. And I would like to introduce you to them. First of all, I'll start with Gerhard and Gabriel. Atelier, Voyage and Lobster both started our business from scratch in 2007, specializing in the high-end luxury travel. Gerhard and I even go back 25 years. And these years were just an amazing journey for both of us, privately and business-wise, with lots of adventures we have gone through together. I'm happy you two are here. Atelier, well, let me tell you something about Atelier Voyage. It was the first agency that became a virtuoso member in Europe in 2014. So real true specialist in luxury. Gerhard has 30 years of experience, a never-ending curiosity for the very special places in the world, and he is joined by Gabriel, which is a perfect match, couldn't be any better, who ensures that Atelier Voyage maintains an aesthetic and creative passion, and Gabriel adds his creative art-loving signature to all the projects and marketing activities. And it's great to have both of you here. You are just a big amount of knowledge and wisdom as well, and the most important thing, you have amazing hearts and are really great friends of mine. Thanks for being here. It means a lot to me. Then I would like to move on to this beautiful lady. Welcome, Jessica.
The only one.
Exactly. I don't know. I always have more men. Well, that's strange. But you're a nice thing to be, huh? So she comes all the way from Galapagos Islands, a powerful lady with a lot of energy and foresight. She is the owner and founder of Hogan Cruises and started her own travel agency when she was 19 years of age. Sorry. I found this claim on your social media channels that really describes you very well, and I love it. Luxury and exclusivity comes from kindness, manners, smiles, and focus on the details. And that's what you are living with your company on a daily basis. Thanks for being here, Jessica.
Thank you for the invitation, Astrid.
Thank you. Giovanni, beautiful, from Bordoy in Mallorca. He is the managing director, general manager. And Giovanni, where are you looking?
No.
Giovanni
I have a ghost whisper.
has devoted his entire life to serve international upscale clients worldwide as a hotelier with greatest success. He has been working for both private luxury and award-winning properties such as Forte Villas, Shah Wellness Clinic, international groups like Starwood, and many more. And now he's the GM and managing director of Can Bordoy in Palma in Mallorca. A real lifestyle experience, and by the way, this was his 11th opening. Giovanni is your typical, vivacious, warm-hearted, passionate Italian, and our relationship has been going on at least over 15 years. Thank you so much for being here. Well, last but not least, it's a great pleasure to welcome Tom Chambers from Hummingbird Travel. Tom is the CEO of Hummingbird Travel, a family-run business that started in the Maldives 30 years ago. Tom grew up in the Maldives from the age of 10 and started his own DMC in 2001. Obviously a great insider of this with excellent contacts and great client support, so I hear. So Tom is currently living in Scotland in a remote cottage with his family with a lot of fresh air and waiting for Corona to pass by. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you. Well, I would like to start with my two gentlemen here. With, if I get the right piece of paper, sorry, I'm so excited here. Yeah, Gabriel and Gerhard, I would like to start with my first question. Loop Faces should be an exchange of knowledge, but also of hope, of friendship, but also really of giving something to the community, sharing, and so you're a fantastic crowd to have. So Gerhard and Gabriel, you are specialists in the high-end, and because of your great synergy as human beings and with both your different talents as expertise, you have created a really very special value-driven company. Also, you got hit very hard, like everyone else in the travel, like all of us financially, etc. It's just a killer almost. You are optimistic for the future, for your business. Why is that?
I will leave the word to Gerhard, who's the very optimistic part of this company.
Great.
First of all, thank you, Astrid, that we are here with you today. Great pleasure. Yeah, right. I mean, I started my career in 1990. So opening a travel agency in Munich, close to Johnny Rorecker, the famous Johnny. And in 1991, there was already the first Gulf War starting, the Iraq Gulf War. And I remember 16th of January in 99, when the first bombs were falling, everyone held on the press, and we all thought, that's it, that's the Third World War. And it took months to recover from this. And yeah, then of course we recovered. The world was going on. People traveled like never before. Then September 11 in 2001, when the Twin Towers were falling, the same scenario. I thought, that's it. The tourism will never recover from this. It will take years. After a few months, it was going on. A lot of companies were quitting, and yeah, but it was too early to quit because, yeah, as I said, it was going on. And there were several other little crises like SARS in 2003. The Gulf War was coming up a second time. So I remember that the tourism was as well very, very difficult in those times, especially in the Middle East and Arabic Peninsula. And yeah, so we have several crises we had to cope, and natural catastrophes, hurricanes. So we got through all of this, and this time I really said, okay, let's wait, let's see, let's get informed, and let's go through this crisis. I mean, thanks God, we work hard, and we have funds to survive, and yeah, And now I'm super optimistic because since 10 days, a lot of positive news are in the press. Bookings are coming in, clients are calling me. So I'm almost busy like before. So I didn't think that it would already happen, but it is. And I think that the complete world will be having the same wave now within the next 4 weeks.
I just want to add that we are been very busy also during the quiet time before the bookings started coming back. I think all CEOs of all the travel agencies listening in, I think we've all been very busy restructuring, rethinking the future of luxury travel. And I'm talking about the niche luxury travel, how that is going to be affected, how our clients are going to want, of course, more seclusion, more insurance, and of course, more service towards preparing their travels and knowing exactly what and how the governments are dealing with this. So Gerhard and I have been, I would say, very busy with the strategizing of the company, Atelier Voyage, and of course, being part of Virtuoso, we have weekly meetings with them. I just finished a meeting just 10 minutes ago. But the idea is that we are constantly revisiting the way travel is being conducted. And I think it was on the preparation for Louvre Faces, my question to the hoteliers, or the DMCs, how are they preparing for that change? So I'm curious to see how as of September, how things are going to run. And I hope we don't go back into the same old, but we are rejuvenating ourselves and be ongoing to just plain luxury, to rethink tourism, to rethink things and strategizing for a new world. Optimistic about it, but more niche. We're going more niche, yes.
Absolutely, that's a very good point. What are we going to learn out of this? What are we going to take away? Definitely. Learning and taking away for Galapagos, let's see. Jessica, Hagen, you are the owner, you are also an entrepreneur. Hagen Cruises has been in business for 15 years. You've been one of the pioneers in the luxury boutique cruising segment in the Galapagos. What makes your product different from others?
Well, thank you again, Astrid, for this invitation. First of all, you said that we should be cozy and...
But I forgot to put something in.
Oh. Okay, for the next round.
Very good.
And well, yes, Galapagos, our product is very special because the Galapagos Islands is already has in place many protocols of protection to the islands. Like, and our product specifically, like you say, we are pioneers, not only in the physical part, in the creation of the product, but also in the service that we offer to our clients. What we want is that when our guests leave our yachts, that they are transformed in some way, that they go back home and they do a small change in their lives, a small change in the way they live, so that they harm the planet a little less. This is our home. We have to take care of it, and not because the planet needs saving. Like I always say, is the planet recovers very easily. You can see it now during this time of pandemic, where we are home, where we are staying home, how fast the planet has recovered. So it means that it doesn't need us. At some point, the planet will just shake us off and we are gone. So the planet doesn't need saving. What needs saving is humanity, and it's in these moments where we can show the world what we are made of. And by traveling with us, we aim to achieve that transformation in the people, in our guests, and that they are more conscious about where they live and how to live without losing comfort of luxury, but how they can live more careful of the environment, of the people, of the nature. So I would say that's how we make it different from the others.
Fantastic. I'm pretty sure many of you probably haven't thought of Galapagos now in here and now, but it's a destination really worthwhile keeping a big focus on before and now and ever. So that's great. Thank you. Tom, the next question for you. I know that many of the listeners here of the Loopers are keen on hearing what's going on in the Maldives. The year started on a very positive foot for you guys in January and February, like for many of us. How did you manage the last couple of weeks, and do you see bookings coming back already? What is your outlook at the moment for Maldives, for Indian Ocean, and your company, of course, and yourself?
Okay, well, I'm definitely in Gerhard's camp on this one, and I'm remaining very optimistic, very positive about things. We did have a fantastic start to the year. We had a record-breaking January and February, and it wasn't just us. It was the countries that we sell. We sell Maldives, Mauritius, Seychelles, and Sri Lanka, and all of them, apart from Sri Lanka, were well up on their business from previous years. Sri Lanka sadly had never quite recovered the business from the Easter attacks last year, but has seen a resurgence in demand. So definitely the demand is there, and we're seeing it on a daily basis. The last few weeks, what we've been doing.
Sorry, Giovanni, can you unmute your microphone? I think it's you got. Is it you? Yeah, it was you. Thank you, Tom.
So last few weeks, I guess, as with everyone, we've been managing the situation, and but one of the areas we really wanted to focus on during these rather unusual times is our relationships, and both on the client side and on the hotel side, and really try and strengthen those and see where our key partnerships lie. And I was listening to the webinar last week, and one of the points that someone came up with was how travel agents are becoming a lot more relevant compared to OTAs because of this, and for really obvious reasons. The service, the protection, both financial and emergency on the ground, expertise, and not just being left in the lurch by a faceless organization. And I think DMCs and having a trustworthy partner on the ground really mirrors that. And we bring that level of service, that knowledge, that expertise to enable our clients, our travel agent partners, to be able to pass that on to their clients. So I think it's that's something that we hope will be good. That a kind of a positive spin to come out of this. So more of a focus on expertise, more of a focus on knowledge and service and so forth. So from the client side, we obviously in the immediate aftermath, we were looking after clients on the ground. We were making sure no one was stranded at the airports. We were getting the last rooms in transit hotels, or even keeping people in. We still have, I think, the last remaining guests in Maldives still out there, extending their holiday as much as they can. And of course, we refunded everyone immediately. We didn't hang on to people's money. We refunded people straight away. Everyone needed help. The banded around phrase, we're all in this together. How many people actually mean it when they say it? And, we really feel like we are, this is our industry, and we refunded people straight away so that they could then refund their clients immediately. And unfortunately, the same wasn't true of certain hotels and certain partners. So I think that's been a focus for us. And it's been very clear that some of the partners that we've dealt with, some of the hotels, most of them have been fantastic, and we've negotiated incredible deals with them for the future, for cancellation periods, for that kind of thing. But the ones that were tricky are the ones that you remember, and everyone in our company, I think, knows who's been a little bit difficult. And I think probably those hotels will struggle a little bit when things open up again, and that's the importance of relationships. But also on the hotel side, we're really trying to support our suppliers. They're struggling just as much as we are. And we've seen these emails come in from, again, these big corporations, the big travel organizations that perhaps major more on price rather than service, giving incredible demands to the hotels and demanding payment terms of 6 or 7 months after client departure and other such sort of unreasonable things. We're certainly not going to be doing that. We'll be paying our hoteliers just as we always have done, upfront and in full, and supporting them as much as we can. So, I think that's an opportunity which has come out of this. And when the chips are down, I think that's where you can kind of show your worth and strengthen your partnership. So, yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's probably where we are. And I think just that visibility. Yeah.
Great. Okay, cool. We'll talk about Maldives.
Sorry, I know I've got a time limit. I could keep talking.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
No, but we'll talk
Something
about,
else.
because we want to know what's going on with the hotels, obviously. Now we are jumping to Mallorca. Giovanni, you are sitting in one of the most popular islands in Spain. And you're the first one that has opened his luxury hotel in Mallorca. Actually, you are open already now since 2-3 days, I think.
It's Friday, yeah.
Since Friday, which is a pretty cool sign, and this in these difficult times. So we would like to know, do you see any chances, opportunities for the development of the business to Mallorca in the future? Will this crisis change the island? Will there be opportunities? How do you see that?
Well, firstly, I would like to say that the idea of reopening as early as possible was mostly coming from the fact that we strongly believe in the energy, the ambiance, and the systems, and how people come together in this place, being these guests or staff or teams. So as soon as we had the opportunity, because the government released the limitation, the restrictions, we prepared the place, we put it up and running, we have make it shining again. And I think that this is, the vibes and the atmosphere that you get through this place are what it makes this place so even more outstanding. When we took this decision, we were not thinking of how much money we can make, especially over the first 2 or 3 weeks. It was mostly, let's take care of the place, let's put it back together, and obviously let's use this time for communication, for connecting back with our repeaters, with our key markets, with our partners, and reactivate those connections which were a little bit no sleepy, I wouldn't say, but because we were more dedicated to maintenance or administration work during the closure. We knew that by being the first, obviously we would have also had an option of hosting those people which are still coming to Mallorca for business, because the leisure, of course, being the airport still closed for leisure trips, both internationally and nationwide. So we can only gather to people which either comes down for business, retail, shipping, yachting, or construction, even sanitary and politics and sports, or obviously locals which are celebrating anniversaries or celebrating birthdays, or just wanted to get off their place and enjoy some freedom, real freedom in this beautiful place, the pool, the garden, and the facilities. Definitely, it was a very interesting period for all of us. We have been always ahead of the market in terms of approaching our service on a holistic level, or let's say on a more comprehensive experiential stage. We never gave only, let's say, a bed and a meal, like most of hoteliers unfortunately do in this island. So we always had a very comprehensive approach in terms of experiences, excursions, activities, parties, and very active on the both local and commercial aspects. So we strongly believe that that's actually the future, or where the upscale niche market of Mallorcan hotels, especially Palma hotels, because obviously there is a sensible difference between destinations within the same island. Alcudia has got obviously nothing to do with Playa de Palma or with Portals area. But in terms of boutique hotels in Palma, which are fairly big number right now, over 20 properties they came up in the last 4 years, 4 and 5 star properties. So this obviously this competition needs to rethink of what to do with their own facilities. I also think there is a huge opportunity to start, like Tom was mentioning very correctly, to start thinking really on the added value, on the value of what we are proposing and selling, because very often the success of the destination and the demand of the destination at Mallorca, especially over the last 3-4 years, was possibly spoiling us a little bit. We were following the we were not proactive in seeking new revenue streams or new way of doing business. We were just following the success and attending the demand. Now, you know, the let's say the contingency of the increased huge increase in inventory and the obviously enormous drop in the demand over the next 3-4 months will oblige us to think forward. We were, as I said, we were pretty much aware of this. We always had our we called it the wellness section of Bordoy's world and activities. We have always been very different in this. So how do I see this changing? Definitely June will be still a rally. I mean, we'll be obviously catching up a few last minute business and opportunities which are coming through. We already have, we opened since Friday and we already got like 11 requests of small medium groups for both for business and leisure. And then we will definitely look forward to have a pseudo-normal activity in July, especially for the city center of Palma. I'm positive, I'm much more positive than many of my colleagues. Firstly, because of the position of the property. Secondly, obviously because of the location in the heart of the old town. And last but not least, because of the size of the property and the level of the property. I mean, obviously the 5-star market with 24 suites, it allows us to be more reactive, more dynamic, and also the team has been always very much attentive and very much present in this period. So I'm very sure that they start up.
So the 5-star business is going to have an easier time, obviously. Than
those which I'm saying, those which are really making of quality and service their credo. I mean, the rest we'll have to work a little bit over.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Gerhard and Gabriel, you are on the other side. You are the travel trade, you're the travel agents, and you have this amazing attitude. You see yourself as butlers of your clients. I really like that. Interesting question. You have started communicating again with your clients. Do you think that they will have a different travel behavior than they did before the crisis, now after? How are they reacting at the moment? And I know we cannot globalize this, but do you see a difference, or do they just trust you and let's just go and travel? What is your feeling?
Start with the answer, and I think Gerhard can go more into the specifics. I will just say that we are focusing on those very loyal clients in the communication, of course, to everyone, but really trying with the wording and the way we're, words of wisdom, or really transmitting our new slogans and which are related to our love for the arts, and being a little bit more true to ourselves, because we're aiming to really focus on those who have understood us for the last 13 years and not try to answer to everyone's many crazy requests worldwide. So we are going to try to be more butler, more down to earth. Of course, we will do many less galas in the next years. So I think we have to also get back to ground zero, and which we like to do, again, because it allows you to be real with the clients. And I think as Gerhard is really now heading the new bookings that have come in for the last 2 weeks with cruises and hotel bookings, he can maybe answer that question of how the client's actual tone is as I'm dealing with the marketing and Gerhard is dealing with head of sales. So I'll let the rest cut.
I mean, the clients are, I don't see a big difference in their actually their life, what's going on, and they're living their life. Of course, they were shocked to be caught in such a situation. They have our clients have the money. That's a good thing. I always said I'm not worried about their financial situation. That's I agree to Giovanni. It is about quality, and they ask for really quality holidays. Yeah? So they had time to reflect on their holidays they did, and maybe on the things they wasted. Sometimes you waste time in having bad holidays. So I think quality is very, very important. And from the requests I'm seeing, it's all very high end, but clients are really, really appreciating what Gabriel is saying. They like that we are down to earth, that we are listening to them, that we're listening to their needs, and their needs are, they want privacy, more private, and now even more privacy. They may consider to take a private plane and going to a villa instead of a hotel. But I'm seeing as well hotel bookings, I'm seeing cruise bookings. Yeah. So
don't worry, Giovanni, we're keeping your property without on top list. Same for Jessica, thank you.
Very good, great. So authenticity, I hear, honesty. I mean, I think this has grounded all of us a lot. I just, as Gabriel said in his initial sentences, I just hope it will remain and we will stay like that. That would be important. Jessica, talking about privacy, not more than 300,000 people are allowed to Galapagos every year, and there's only 70 license of authorized cruise boats in the Galapagos. I think it was a perfect place before, but it seems to be a perfect place now as well. Therefore, what makes your tour so suitable during these difficult times when traveling in small numbers is a must?
Yes. Well, Astrid, like I mentioned before, in Galapagos, there were already in place many protocols for people to come in and not damage the ecosystem. So it's going to be very easy to put in place extra protocols against spreading the virus. And what makes our product spectacular actually for in these times is that our yachts have only 16 passengers on board. So it's a boutique cruising. It's not the big cruises that, you know, people might be a little scared now of going in big cruises, although it's luxury or not. Then like Gabriel said, going to that extra luxury is when the people can actually take the entire yacht for one family. They will be very happy to do so. We have gotten a couple of requests about that, because then they feel more comfortable not sharing the yacht with other people. And our cabins are 30 square meters big. They all have private balconies, which also gives you this privacy and sense of space. Then on top of that, the regulations in the Galapagos Islands are also that no more than 32 people can be on a site at the same time. And to put a little more better perspective on this is that the only 97%, not only, but 97% of the Galapagos Islands is non-populated. So every site that you visit, or most sites that you visit, have no population at all. So imagine being in a huge island where it's so restrictive, and you are there only with 32 other people, if there is like full, no? But if you charter your yacht by yourself, then it's you and maybe the group from another yacht.
There are eight cabins, right? 8 cabins per.
It happens right now, but it's never more than that. And the places, the spaces are so open and big in these sites that you never see other groups. You always feel that you are mostly alone. So it's I would say, the perfect destination to go after borders open up, when people are a little bit nervous still. So if there are any agencies watching here, just think about sending your clients to Galapagos, because they will feel much safer there than anywhere else. I was reading, somebody is asking about the mask on the boat. Right now, the government is putting in place all the protocols, like the legal protocols, but I don't know if you mean with the mask, you mean oxygen mask, or you mean the regular mask. Yes, we have them, but also in Galapagos, we have a very strict regulations about materials that we can bring in the islands, so that we don't leave too much garbage in the islands. No, so this will be also some protocols that the government is gonna send us when what type of materials they are going to allow us to have on board. You know, these one-time gloves, for example, probably those won't be allowed. We will have to do something different.
Interesting.
Right now, plastic is not allowed in the islands, for example. So our product, I mean, Galapagos had also very few cases. All of them were introduced. It's about 19 cases introduced. And then the population there is already used to follow a lot of regulations, not to harm the environment. So they follow every rule that they are put in by the institute, and it's very easy to be careful in the Galapagos. So actually, like I said, it's the safest place you could imagine for these times.
Super, sounds great. Super, thank you. Tom, please give our listeners advice on how to best to position the Maldives in the current situation. How should the travel advisors go about selling Maldives? And are there any particular requirements you know of? And how can we quick start? How would you see quick starting the business to the Indian Ocean?
Well, I think, and I'll echo a few of the things that Jessica said. You know, the demand that we're seeing is driven by a number of criteria, which I think perhaps the Indian Ocean shares some of the same as Galapagos. So we initially saw very strong responses from the governments in all 4 of the countries we deal with, and so they've got that advantage already. I think there's only 11 cases in Seychelles. Mauritius has been COVID-19 free for about 3 weeks. And Maldives and Sri Lanka have very low case rates. Maldives anyway being geographically well positioned to handle isolated cases. And then alongside that, the criteria we've seen that the demand for bookings has been primarily beach, sun, isolation, wellness, and escape. So kind of all those factors are ticks in the box for the Indian Ocean. And if you take somewhere like Maldives, for example, you could have 100% occupancy on your island, at your hotel, and still rarely see someone. You still have your private bit of beach. You still have, you don't really have communal areas. You rarely bump into another person. So, and we've heard from agents saying that they've had clients cancel bookings to Thailand, Bali, and rebook them at places they see as more safe, such as Maldives. And I'll mention Sri Lanka as well, because we're seeing a really surprising demand for Sri Lanka during this time, it having been quite quiet on our list for quite a few months. And it really is the ideal destination to go to now. It was really thriving pre the Easter attacks last year. And then obviously it took a big tourism hit after that. But now with pandemic and social distancing and all the rest of it, to go to a country as beautiful as Sri Lanka with very few people around is an amazing opportunity. So you've got beautiful empty beaches to go to, as well as historical cultural sites that have no queues, no crowds, no vast numbers of people. So it really is an ideal time to visit Sri Lanka and get that culture and that beach. And something the other panelists have touched upon, and maybe one of the few positives that will come out of this is the backlash against over-tourism. And moving away from those destinations where you're surrounded by other people, where you're going there just to take the selfie and come home and say, I stood next to this. But actually to go somewhere with an experience and away from the hordes and the crowd. So I think that's the Indian Ocean again is very well placed to pick that up. And I think when doors do open, when borders reopen, those are the criteria people are looking for, and these are the kind of destinations which will start selling first. And you asked where to position the product, and Maldives has always been a fairly aspirational destination, but we're seeing demand across the range. So we're seeing bookings from 3-4 star up to 5-star. It's not just the private jets which are coming in and the high net worth individuals. We're seeing it across the board and for all budgets. So
what about the flights? What are you hearing about flights coming into this? Is there anything you hear already happening in the background? I mean, you have such good contacts, right?
It changes on a regular basis. So we're keeping a very close ear to the ground. They're starting to talk about opening up. We'd hoped for June. I think realistically it's going to be at least July before flights come in. And they're talking about air gates and bilateral agreements. So people with countries that have low incidences will create an air gate with another country that has low incidences, and they will have bilateral agreements to allow no quarantine travel between the two countries. So I think that's fairly positive. There's a draft report come out of Maldives recently, which has certain suggestions, one of which is a minimum 2-week travel time, which we have spoken to the government about and said is unworkable. And I think the major stakeholders in the industry are lobbying against that, and it probably won't happen. But the rest of the criteria in the document were good, but fairly non-visible. So those destinations anyway are kind of major on social distancing, and they major on a lot of the conditions that perhaps big cities destinations are going to try and have to put into place. So so we hope that when things start, they're just going to start without too many major changes. They have talked about testing on arrival, so you get your results back within 15 minutes, and if you're negative, you go straight to your island. If you're positive, you go to a different luxury island, which is a quarantine island. So it's not too bad an option either way. So there'll be a few changes, but I think hopefully the doors will just open and it will be business as usual roughly from July, August.
Did you, looking back 1 month ago or 6 weeks ago, did you expect that we are talking about maybe July opening up now?
We were a lot more optimistic a couple of months ago.
Okay. But it's only in 5-6 weeks, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's true. Well, when I came up to Scotland, I packed for a few weeks, and here we are 2 months later. But, no, we're reasonably positive. I mean, we read the papers and we read the economic forecasts, which are scary and very doom and gloom, but we try and focus on our own data, which is reasonably positive, and bookings coming in every day, inquiries coming in every day, and a lot of those for travel this year. So if people are allowed to travel, it's it won't be a totally damaged year.
Right, thanks. Giovanni, I changed the question now. I hope you're not upset with me, but we're talking about destinations, politics a little bit, etc. Do you think that how many hotels are going to be opening in Mallorca and which kind of hotels? Do you have an indication? I'm sure people are planning. Do you know anything about that?
Well, I mean, indication, of course, both for personal connection and, or let's say more official communication, we can definitely say that there will be a bare minimum of 30–40% of the hotel inventory reopening, possibly by the beginning of July. Obviously, we have to make a huge difference between individual hotels, independent individual hotels, small local groups. Well, not really small, because here you have 3 or 4. We have local groups with 3 or 4 properties, which are summing up to 2,000 rooms. But still, let's say local groups, and then obviously international groups, international chains. There are totally three different scenarios. The first one, the first independent boutique hotels or independent operators will be a lot depending, obviously, on the location they have, because obviously there will be much less affluence on the island, much less tourists coming over. I mean, in a normal weekend last year, between the end of June and beginning of September, you were easily making 500,000 passengers during arrivals and departure over the weekend. So these are numbers which are, first, they were not really sustainable for the island, and many indicators were already showing this. And secondly, what happened? So the first independent hotels will a lot depend on the location they have, how many rooms they have, and whether they benefit from the let's say from the assistance of the government and the tax exemption they were offering at this stage. The local groups, I believe that 30–35% of the inventory will be open, mostly possibly the most successful one, those which are closer to let's say centers, and then obviously I think that a lot depends. A lot depends on those which have very strong distribution and multi-channel distribution, which is not very often happening in this island, which is 100% to operate, or let's say 70% to operate, and a lot more oriented. The third one, which means the biggest groups, I guess they're over 50% of the properties will open. I'm talking about Bordoy, Melilla, Barcelona, Rio. They will obviously look into those properties which are more updated in terms of refurbishment, better facilities, buffet services, those properties which can guarantee better quality, even though more spaces around the pool, direct beach access. So those will be, obviously, they will be screening the inventory, and they will decide which properties to open, which not. Definitely on the four stars upscale and more modern, more prepared to the new ventures, to the new challenges. If I may make a note, because everybody, it's, you know, here we have amazing destination islands, very remote locations, and very how can I say, very safe, COVID-free destinations. But being Sardinian, I'm a Sardinian, and having been in Mallorca, the impact of the virus has been minimal, if really inexistent. What Mallorca offers, besides a very healthy destination, is obviously a top of the range health facilities. So whatever type of both private and public. So obviously it has always been how can I say, very it's always been very organized, very safe. Everything was smooth. There was never any sort of emergency. And you know, we have been, this lockdown was basically touching all regions of Spain and areas of Spain in the same way, but conditions in Mallorca, both for climate and let's say the heat of the virus, was really minimal.
Okay, perfect. What do you guys think about the rates and prices? Because obviously the luxury market, you know, we had quite a lot of different things going on before the crisis. It is a question for Gabriel and for Gerhard. I mean, are you expecting that hotels will also in the high-end discount now heavily to get a share of the cake to kind of recuperate somehow? What do you think? And what kind of message would that be as well, of course?
There are special offers out there already for hotels that have opened in Switzerland and in France, but I'm seeing also questions here on the chat that are interesting about flights, because I would like maybe Gerhard to talk about your question, but also how clients are feeling about taking flights, which I know already in Germany some are taking regional and national flights and very excited about it. It's like the baptism of air. But I'd like Gerhard to continue.
Our clients are frequent flyers, so they're used to taking a plane, and they're missing it. So they are excited to take the next plane, and they are looking forward to it. So Eurowings is already announcing to start. Lufthansa has now, I think, 160 different flights in order in June. So, and bookings coming in, and of course the rates are high now for the flights, but yeah, that's normal.
For properties, Gerhard, as Astrid question was about what are hotels leaning towards, offers or more exclusive?
I'm not a friend of special offers, and I think that the hotel should stay with their rates, and especially in the luxury market, they don't have to go down. I mean, if they go down, they never get the rates up, and they have to make a little bit of money. And I think clients understand this. It's more about quality. Of course, you have to quality. That's the most important thing. Value always a question.
If I may say something on the hotelier side, of course. There is a lot, again, depends on the destination. Within the same island, we have 1,800 hotels, and very, very, very different situations. But the general on the four-star superior, five-star luxury market, the general indication is to keep it up with the same level of quality and the prices we had before. There was actually, there will be certainly good offers in coming over for the more massive properties or half-board all-inclusive properties, which are more on the beach side. But we like Gerhard is saying is a lot will depend on the there will be a lot of people in terms of staffing, a lot of people which will be available to find new challenges, a lot of people which will have, how can I say, wishes of changing and reinserting themselves in the labor field, and a lot depends on the quality we want to deliver. So yes, the island has definitely decided to go down with prices not so far.
Absolutely, great. Yeah.
Another comment was a chat. Which destinations are people traveling to? Again, for Atelier Voyage, it's been 2 weeks that we have a lot of booking requests, and we've seen a lot within Europe, but Gerhard is already leading some bookings towards, of course, well, Antarctica, but that's quite unique, Asia in winter, and Gerhard, if you want to continue, Germany, of course, Switzerland, France, Greece. What else are you hearing that is unusual, or when are they starting to travel?
They're starting to travel whenever they can. So hopefully the first ones are going to Italy in June. There's hope. We have clients right now in Switzerland. Of course, you have to find ways of getting them in. But it's possible, and it will be getting possible within the next 2 weeks. So every day we have news on this already, and what was impossible a week ago is now getting possible. So I'm very hopeful. Yeah.
people can't wait to go. That's for sure. That's what we hear all over.
May I Astrid, add something that what we already experience, I mean, what we're already facing now is that both for, Gerhard has mentioned now, Lufthansa on the 2nd or 3rd of June starts flying again to Mallorca. I mean, we always had 3 to 4 flights, German, 20 flights, approximately 20 flights per week coming over to Mallorca, more for business or residents, no, which were traveling from Germany. But what I think will affect a lot this season and possibly the next season as well is the less flight, possibly higher flagship airlines, not so much low cost like before, and less charter as well, which will be mostly directed to the big operators, not to the big companies and to the big operator, the hotel operators. What I think there will be an extension of the stay in Mallorca, more or less what Tom was saying, maybe not 2 weeks, but Palma, which was, for instance, Palma, which was already on average a 3 nights stay, may reach 5 to 5.5 and 6. People will not be so quickly coming in and out of the island. So for a weekend, they're just taking a flight and on Friday and send Sunday back. That, I think, there will be a radical change this summer and possibly next year as well.
Yeah,
I already see
from
from
many.
the booking. I see already this from the booking. There are 4, 5, 6, 7 nights. We got bookings already for October and September. There's not really, I mean, being the center of Palma, most of the bookings are coming last minute. But still, September and October, they are let's say packages or whatever.
I want to follow
which are much longer.
I want to follow up a little bit on that, Giovanni, and I saw a question also from Martin that he says that he has the impression that everybody's looking for privacy and wants to avoid other people, but that he doesn't think so. So actually what you say, all of you said is that travelers are just changing their ways, maybe staying longer, and certainly what we meant about the privacy, Martin, was that they are going to go for more exclusive and less crowded places, not necessarily privacy 100%. Of course, it's very important to meet interesting people, like you say, or locals or the crew, but I don't think people are going to go first to the most crowded places, especially not in the luxury market.
Right. Hey guys, we're coming to an end. We are known to be really precise in our timing. I think we could speak forever, and this was a very, very different talk today in terms of way looking forward. We can feel something. I can smell it. I can feel it coming. It's really, really, really cool. It's going to take some time, some patience, of course, but you were just an absolutely wonderful crowd, and everybody listening to us, thank you so much for being in Loop Faces again. What's going to be next week on Tuesday, our sure fixed date, we're going to have also a great round again. We will have Hans-Jörg Meyer, the General Manager, Managing Director of the Legian in Bali, and the new opening joining us. We will have Stefan Bölke from the Director of Air Tours coming in, and 2 other wonderful speakers. So it's going to be an interesting crowd. Our goal is to have a very different speakers from different destinations and angles, and this is what we want to achieve, and because we want to go through this together, and this is not just the saying. Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you to you that you joined. So I would love to hug you, but it's going to happen soon. And thank you to all the listeners. And do enjoy a nice evening. And I'm going to fill this up now for sure. And have a
you know what? All of you, for next time, you owe me a drink. When we meet, we hug, and you owe me a drink.
Or 1 or 2 or more. Exactly.
I just would like to leave everyone with one little nice phrase from Charles Darwin. And it's that the species that adapts itself is the one that survives. And that's what we all in the luxury industry have to do from now on.
Absolutely. The fittest survive. That's for sure. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you next week. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.